Okay, so let's dive in. The material we're looking at today, it starts with this. Well, this really powerful scene.
Yeah, it's in heaven, right? And there's this incredible silence, just absolute stillness.
Exactly. Like everything is holding its breath. And this deep dive comes from a devotion that really unpacks Revelation chapter 8.
And it brings us right into that silence, that pause before things really start happening.
And what comes out of that silence is amazing. It focuses on the prayers, the prayers of God's people.
Right. There's this image of an angel.
Yeah, taking the prayers, mixing them with incense.
Yes. And offering them right there before God's throne. It's quite a visual.
It really is. So I think our mission here for this deep dive is to get into what these verses are actually telling us. About our prayers, yes, but also about God's actions, his judgment.
And what it means for us, living our lives today.
That's the key. And the devotion really pulls out these two big images, doesn't it?
It does. You've got the prayers, like that fragrant incense we mentioned. And then you have the trumpets. Signaling judgment.
They seem almost opposite, but the text connects them. So let's start with the prayers, this idea that they are precious to God.
Yeah, think about that contrast. In the middle of this profound heavenly silence.
Your words, our prayers.
Exactly. They aren't just heard, they're valued, esteemed even. The incense image suggests they're pleasing, acceptable. They actually engage God.
Wow. That really changes things. It counters that feeling we sometimes get, right? That our prayers just kind of disappear.
Totally. It means prayer isn't just us talking at God. It's contributing something valuable in heaven.
So if our prayers are seen as this important, this precious, does that change how we should approach praying? Should we be bolder?
I think so, yeah. It definitely encourages setting aside real time for it because it matters. Knowing your words are, treasured by God, that has to build trust, right? Trust that he actually wants to hear an answer.
Okay, so that's one side, the preciousness of prayer.
Yeah.
But then you mentioned the trumpets.
Right, the shift. It gets pretty dramatic. Trumpets sounding, signaling judgment.
How does that fit in? Is it connected to the prayers, or is it a separate point about God's justice?
Well, the text presents it sequentially. After the prayers are offered, the judgments begin. So while the prayers show God's intimacy and care for his people, the trumpets are this stark reminder of his holiness, his justice. It's not random chaos. The devotion frames it as judgment on a world that's persistently rejected him.
So it's showing that God's patience isn't infinite and his righteousness means sin. Well, it has consequences. It can't just go on forever.
Exactly. And the source material emphasizes this judgment. As difficult as it is to read about, is part of God's plan to ultimately make things right. His justice is certain.
Okay, so understanding that, the prayers are precious, judgment is certain. What's the practical takeaway for us now?
Well, for one, it probably encourages living with a real awareness of God's holiness, wanting to turn away from sin quickly.
Right. Not living in constant fear, but healthy respect.
Precisely. A healthy respect for who God is. And it also brings a sense of urgency, maybe.
Urgency how?
If judgment is coming for a world that's rejected God, then sharing the message of hope, the message of Christ, becomes incredibly important, vital even, a loving act.
That makes sense. And praying for the world, too.
Absolutely. Praying for repentance, for people to turn to him, knowing that even when judgment is discussed, there's always that path to reconciliation offered.
Okay. So let's try and bring this together, this deep dive into Revelation 8, drawing from the devotion. It really shows us two key things.
Your prayers. They rise up before God, and they are truly precious to him.
His judgment on a world that turns away is both righteous and absolutely certain.
Yeah, the core message is kind of simple when you boil it down, but it's deep. Your prayers count a lot, and God's justice is unwavering.
So maybe the question to leave everyone with is this. If you really grasp that, truly believe your prayers are precious to God, and that his judgment is certain, how does that actually change how you live day to day?
How does it shape the way you pray? Or even the way you interact with the world around you?
Yeah. Something to really think about.